So good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's Lunch with Mia event. My name is Patty Dorn, and I'm going to be the moderator for the event today. I'm going to launch a quick poll question to start the event today. If you don't mind answering the poll, it's just for us to gather information about how you found out about this event. If you don't see the poll on your screen, that's okay, because certain versions of Zoom are not going to show the poll. But if you do see it, if you wouldn't mind giving it a quick answer. Thanks so much. All right, well, thank you for answering the poll. And again, welcome to the event. So liability coverage for your homeowners and auto insurance can sometimes be confusing. Today, we have some scripted scenario questions that myself and my colleague Gia Wilkerson are going to ask our rapid response group. This is to help you better understand the liability portion of your insurance. The rapid response group at the Maryland Insurance Administration, they are engaged daily in helping Marylanders understand their property and casualty insurance issues. And also they investigate their complaints and help them understand their insurance complaints and their insurance issues. So a few housekeeping rules for today. Please leave your microphones on mute and cameras off for the event. Just a reminder, as you saw in the beginning, this event is being recorded. If you have questions during the event, please put your questions in the chat box, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of the event with our guests from Rapid Response. So we are going to start out today with the homeowners insurance questions, and welcome Robin Lombo from the Rapid Response team.
Thank you.
All right, let me bring up your questions. All right, here goes. So Robin, first question. Elaine's neighbor has a tree, which is clearly dead. She has spoken with her neighbor several times and advised the neighbor that she thought it was a hazard and asked to have the tree taken down, but he has refused to do so. During a storm last week, the tree fell down from a gust of wind and it struck her fence. It struck Elaine's fence and shed, and it caused damage to both. So would Elaine's neighbor's homeowner's insurance policy cover this damage, or must she file a claim with her own insurance company?
If the tree was dead and the neighbor was aware that this was a hazard, there may be coverage for the loss under his policy. One of the issues would be whether Elaine let him know by writing and had record of that she wrote him and said, your tree is dead, it's a hazard. There would be coverage in that situation.
So Robin, if the tree was not dead, would there still be coverage for her damages since it was her neighbor's tree and it was in his yard?
There wouldn't, unfortunately, because it's an act of nature. So he would have no control over nature taking the tree down onto her house.
Okay, thanks, Robin. Next question. So Christy's roof was worn out and it needed to be replaced. She hired a roofing company to replace the roof. While one of the roofers was working on the roof, he slipped and fell. He was injured and needed to be taken to the emergency room. So in this situation, can he file a claim against Christy's homeowner's insurance?
Generally, no, because he was doing a job for his employment. So Christy's at no fault for his injury. It should be covered under his work comp policy.
All right, thanks. All right, your next question. There was a bad storm last winter and it left sidewalks covered in ice. Although Phil was aware that his walkway and his steps were covered in ice and they were slippery, he failed to treat these areas to melt the ice. The FedEx delivery person dropping off a package fell and broke his arm. So he is now suing Phil as a result of his injuries. Will Phil's homeowner's insurance protect him?
Most homeowners insurance policies provide liability coverage that they will pay if you unintentionally cause an injury to another person or cause damage to another person's property that you're legally liable for. It will also cover the cost of an attorney to represent him in such matters.
Okay, thanks, Robin. So in Christie's case, you said workers' compensation would cover the roofer's injuries. Why wouldn't the same thing apply in this instance?
In Christie's case, there was no negligence on her part. But in Phil's case, there was negligence because he failed to treat his sidewalk and steps which had ice, causing the damage.
Okay. Next question, Robin. Donna's dog got out of the yard. The wind blew open her gate. So the dog ran down the street where some children were playing and it bit one of the children. The child did require stitches. Will her homeowner's insurance liability coverage cover this loss since the dog was not on her property when the child was bit?
It's going to just depend on several factors, starting with whether her policy covered this particular pet. Donna should talk with her agent to make sure that her policy covers injuries caused by pet.
Okay, so but since the gate blew open from the wind, then why wouldn't this gate be considered an act of nature?
Well, it would still be Donna's responsibility to make sure that the gate is closed and latched and protected and secured.
And if the child had come onto Donna's property, would you still be liable for his injuries?
If she routinely allowed children to come into her yard, then she might be liable. Again, her insurer would review the claim and make whatever decision necessary to protect Donna. Also, did Donna has signs on her fence, beware of dog, you know, a dog warning, caution, dog, so many factors with dog bites come into play with liability. The best thing you can do is talk to your agent if you do have pets before something happens.
Thanks, Robin. Denise has a young lady that comes to her house 3 evenings a week to watch her children while she works her part-time job. So last week, while making pasta for the children, the handle broke as the babysitter was trying to drain the water. The boiling water splashed on the babysitter's hand and she was badly burned. She did require medical attention and treatment. And so would this be something? All right.
I'm sorry, Patty, you cut out a little bit
Yeah,
there.
I think I just got accidentally muted. Hold on a second. Okay. Would this be something that would be covered by Denise's liability coverage under her homeowner's policy?
That would depend. If Denise knew that the pot was faulty, she could be deemed negligent and liable for the babysitter's injuries.
Thanks. So Denise spoke with the sitter's parents and they said their daughter will be okay, but they really wanted Denise to pay for the medical bills. Is there something under the homeowner's policy that would take care of those medical bills?
Yes, medical payments coverage will pay up to a specified amount for medical expenses incurred by people injured in an accident in your home. And that's regardless whether you were at fault or not.
All right. Okay, so thanks, Robin. You're
welcome.
Question. One more question. So Frank was home one night watching TV and something caused the ceiling in his living room to collapse onto him. He was injured when the plaster fell on him. So would the medical payments coverage pay for his medical bills in this situation?
Unfortunately, no, it does not. It does not cover the insured or family members in the home on the medical expense payments.
Thanks, Robin.
You're welcome.
So next, we are going to move on to the auto insurance liability portion. And I'm going to have Mary Jo Rogers and Gia Wilkerson on. Gia, you're muted.
Is that better? Mary Jo, Diana was driving on the Beltway when the person driving the car next to her suddenly changed lanes without looking and struck her car. The police responded to the scene, wrote an accident report, and found the other driver at fault. Diana filed a claim with the other driver's insurance company, and they denied her claim, saying their insurer stated that Diana was the one who made the improper lane change. Mary Jo, Diana wants to know if the police officer found the other driver at fault, how can his insurance company find her at fault and deny her claim?
Gia, if the officer did not witness the accident, the officer made a judgment call as to which driver's version was accurate when writing the report. The insurance company is not bound by the officer's report and can make an independent decision based on its own claim investigation.
Would the Maryland Insurance Administration be able to investigate the loss, taking statements from each driver and reviewing the accident report to determine the facts of the loss and make a liability decision?
No, unfortunately, the Maryland Insurance Administration is an administrative state agency. Our role is to enforce the insurance laws. We do not conduct claim investigations, and we do not have authority to make decisions as to who is at fault, who is telling the truth, or resolve any other factual disagreements between two parties.
Does Diana have any other options to get her car fixed?
Yes, if Diana has collision coverage on her vehicle, she may use that coverage subject to her deductible. Her insurance company might then decide to seek reimbursement of its claim payment from the other insurance company. This process is called subrogation.
Mary Jo, can you explain how subrogation works?
Of course. After paying her claim, Diana's insurer would send a demand to the other driver's insurance company. This demand would be for the amount her insurer paid out on the claim and will typically include a demand for Diana's deductible expense. If the demand is denied, Diana's insurer may choose to submit the dispute over the property damage claim to intercompany arbitration. If they succeed in arbitration, her insurance company will recover any payments made and refund Diana's deductible. The decision of the arbitrator is binding on both insurance companies, but it is not binding on the parties involved in the accident.
Well, what if Diana didn't have collision coverage?
Diana can file a lawsuit against the other party. Depending on the amount of damage, that suit may be eligible for small claims court, formerly known as district court. This is an option even if she does have collision coverage, because using her own coverage could impact her rates and cause an increase in her premiums, even if her company is able to collect from the other insurer through subrogation. Diana will have to weigh her options.
How would Diana file suit in small claims court? Does she need an attorney?
She does not need an attorney and could file on her own. She would go to the district court in the county where the accident occurred and file suit against the other driver, not the insurance company, for the amount of her damages and expenses such as rental and towing fees up to the $5,000 limit for small claims court.
Thank you. Our next question comes from Roger. He was involved in an accident with another vehicle and filed a claim with that driver's insurance company. The other driver filed a claim with Roger's insurance company. The insurance companies determined that both drivers contributed to the loss and both companies denied the claims made under each policy's liability coverage. What does it mean that each driver contributed to the accident?
In Maryland, a driver must be 100% free of any negligence to collect under another driver's insurance policy. If there is a determination that a driver is found to be only partially at fault and contributed some negligence, even slightly, they are barred from recovering from the other party, even if the other party was mostly at fault. This is called contributory negligence.
So who determines whether there is contributory negligence?
That determination is made by the insurance company. If the claimant disagrees, the options are the same as for Diana, using their own coverage and allowing their insured to decide whether or not to subrogate or filing suit against the other party in court.
Ashley was in an accident. The other driver filed a claim against Ashley, and her insurance company found her at fault and settled the other person's claim. Ashley disagrees with her insurance company's decision and even directed them not to pay the claim. They went ahead and paid the claim. Ashley gave her insurance company a statement of what happened and explained why she was not at fault. She instructed her adjuster to deny the other party's claim. Mary Jo, doesn't her insurance company have to honor her request?
No. Automobile insurance policies allow the insurer to settle or defend liability claims without consent or permission of the insured. Although Ashley truly feels she was not at fault, the knowledge and experience of the adjuster will allow them to make a proper determination of liability in order to protect Ashley from a lawsuit that the adjuster feels would go against her.
And our last question comes from Tanya. She was driving down the road when a vehicle crossed the double yellow line and struck her head on. Tanya's car was a total loss and she was badly injured. She filed a claim against the other driver. The other driver's insurance company has denied her claim, saying their driver had a medical emergency. Clearly, Tanya was in no way at fault for this accident. Mary Jo, how can the other company deny her claim?
For the other driver to have been at fault, they must have done something careless to cause the accident. That is called being negligent. In this case, the other driver suddenly suffered a stroke and was unable to control his car. Since the other driver was previously healthy and had no warning that he was about to suffer a stroke, this is an unforeseen medical emergency. Since the other driver was not negligent, he is not legally liable for Tanya's damages, and his insurance company would not owe Tanya for her loss. If Tanya has collision coverage, she may file for her vehicle damages under her own policy, but unfortunately, there would be no coverage for her bodily injuries other than PIP, personal injury protection. This would not qualify as an uninsured motorist claim.
Are there other instances where a driver that clearly caused the accident would not be found negligent?
Yes, black ice is such a situation. The road is wet, a vehicle is being driven cautiously and unknowingly hits a patch of black ice and loses control of their car, sliding into another. There may be no negligence. The liability portion of an auto policy, again, only applies if the insured driver is negligent. Since black ice is hard to see and may look like the road is just wet, the driver may be negligence-free. However, these situations are decided on a case-by-case basis. Another such example may be a phantom vehicle. If a driver is struck in the rear, pushed into another vehicle in front, and the vehicle causing the accident flees the scene, that would be a phantom vehicle. In this case, if no one is able to obtain a tag number or identify the vehicle that caused the accident, then both vehicles would use their uninsured motorist coverage to settle their loss. The party who was pushed by the phantom vehicle would not be liable.
And one more question. Anthony was stopped at a stop sign. He looked both ways, not seeing any cars coming. He entered the roadway and was struck by a car that was driving on that roadway. The other vehicle stopped briefly, but then fled the scene. Anthony did file a police report. He submitted a claim under his uninsured motorist coverage since the other vehicle fled the scene. His insurance company denied his claim. Since the other driver's insurance information is unknown, wouldn't this be an uninsured motorist claim?
Although it can be assumed that the other driver may be uninsured, or at the least, the insurance information is unknown, this will not qualify for uninsured motorist coverage. For uninsured motorist coverage to apply, the driver must be unknown or uninsured, and Anthony must be without any fault or negligence. Since Anthony was pulling onto the favored roadway, the other driver had the right of way, making Anthony at fault. In this case, uninsured motorists would not apply.
Thank you so much, Mary Jo.
Thanks, Gia. And I guess, Mary Jo, if you can stay with me here. I am going to move on now to the Q&A portion. If you have questions for either Robin or Mary Jo, if you can please put them in the chat. We do have a couple questions. And so, I'll just direct them to you, Mary Jo. And if you want to send them off to Robin, I'll leave that up to you. So Mary Jo, the first question, roof example. What happens if the injured party on the roof is not an employee, but someone the homeowner hired, or if the employee's company does not have workers' compensation?
It still depends on the issue of negligence. First of all, in Maryland, all employers are required to have workers' compensation insurance unless it's a sole proprietor. So if it's a one-person kind of business, they don't have to get workers' comp on themselves. But if they have an employee, they are required to have workers' compensation. But again, if the owner of the home did not do anything negligent, then she or he would not be liable for that person's injuries.
Thanks, Mary Jo. If you have any follow-up questions for Mary Jo too, you can go ahead and put those in the chat. Moving on to the next question in the chat. With the reckless drivers even more prevalent today, what if you are in an accident and the other driver does not have insurance?
Again, that is if the other party is 100% at fault, you as a Maryland driver will have uninsured motorist coverage. So your insurance company would settle your claim. That would include property damage and bodily injury up to the amounts of your policy coverage, subject to a $250 deductible, which is set by law. And then their own insurance company would go after that uninsured motorist to try to recover the damages. And that would also be reported to the Motor Vehicle Administration so they could take administrative action against that uninsured driver.
Thanks, Mary Jo. So those are the only questions that I see in the chat. However, I encourage you, if you have any other questions for them, we do have a couple more minutes. I'm going to have Joyce put up a little survey in the chat. This is just, it's a slightly off topic, but this is going to be a survey about flood awareness in Maryland. If you don't mind taking a second to fill out the flood survey. She just put the link in. And again, if you have any other questions, feel free. Is there anything else you wanted to say, Mary Jo?
No, that's it. The important thing, whether it's home owners or auto insurance, liability is the person that is insured must have some negligence, carelessness to trigger the liability coverage.
Yeah, I think that's important. That's important to understand. The other thing, Joyce just posted in the chat as well, if you are interested in these events, if you're interested in joining us for future virtual events or even in-person events, we do have, you can sign up to receive information about those events on a list, and that link as well, Joyce has put in the chat. But seeing no other actual questions, I guess I am going to wrap it up for today. Again, if you're interested, sign up, put your email on there, and then you'll get the information about our events just coming into your inbox. A few upcoming virtual events for this month. So Thursday, February 10th, we're going to have a Consumer Resource Day. That's where we welcome other state agencies or other entities to come and talk about how they are a resource to consumers. And you can join us, hear about the Maryland Department of Health. They're going to talk. Maryland ABLE is going to be there, the Red Cross, the Maryland Cash Campaign, and the Maryland Small Business Development. Each one will just be talking for about for just a few minutes. And that's going to be on Thursday, February 10th. And again, there'll be a Q&A session at the end of that too, where you can ask questions. On Wednesday, February 16th, we're going to have an informational presentation that's going to help you understand a new federal law. That new federal law is called the No Surprises Act. And so join us to learn about what you can do if you get an unexpected bill after you receive emergency medical services. The next day after that, on Thursday, February 17th, you can join us to learn more about life insurance. And so additional details for those events, they can be found on the front page of our website, or if you sign up on the list, you'll get it in your email. And of course, follow us on social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. And with that, I just want to say thanks everyone for joining us today. And
Patty, I think there's some new questions.
oh, my bad. Thank you. Don't leave yet. One question. Here we go. Mary Jo, I had a leak in my home. The contractor discovered the joist had been cut in the ceiling to install wiring by the builder. How or who do I contact to receive reimbursement for the repairs?
That is not, that first of all, it depends. It's not a liability issue. That's more in the course of doing work. That probably it's not something that insurance would help with, but the best place to go for assistance would be the Maryland Home Improvement Commission. They are the state agency. They come under the Department of Labor, and they license contractors, builders, home builders, contractors, various building trades. They could, if this was something that was done improperly by the builder, they would have the authority to go after that builder for, and there's a fund, as long as that builder, that contractor is licensed, there is a fund under the Maryland Home Improvement Commission that consumers can apply for assistance. But again, that's the Department of Labor, the Maryland Home Improvement Commission.
Thanks, Mary Jo.
And I think I saw one more.
I think she just said thanks.
You're quite welcome.
All right. So now seeing no questions, again, thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope to see you in a future event. Again, you know, you can follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. Thanks again, and see everybody soon at a future event.
Patty,
Yes,
quickly, we have one person who's asked for has a private question.
To you? Okay.
I would be happy to talk to them. I can give you my contact information.
Mary Jo, I'm going to put your email in the chat for them to grab.
Yes. Put in, and if, ma'am, if you give me your phone number, send me an email, include your phone number, I would be happy to give you a call. And then Patty will put my email in the chat.
All right. Can you see the chat, Mary Jo?
I do.
Confirm that your email is correct.
That is my email. It's maryjo.rogers@maryland and Maryland is spelled out.
So don't hesitate to reach out to Mary Jo with any follow-up questions that you have in the future.
Mhm.
Her email address is right there if you want to grab it. All right. Thanks, everyone. I hope you have a great day. Thanks so much.
Thank you.